Hi, everybody. My name is Doria Martingale, and today I am joined by Ramon Garza. He's a rising senior at Cornell and was a member of the 2019 Tom Sox championship team. He was a utility player for us and was with the team from May until the championship game in August and was one of the team leaders at that. So thanks for joining us today, Ramon.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate that little introduction.
Of course. So what made you choose Charlottesville last summer?
I think it was a number of different things. Charlottesville just seemed like the right fit. I'd played in the Valley League the year before and known Charlottesville had a great program, was always competitive, things like that. And then I also had family that lived in the Charlottesville area that moved in that I would be allowed to stay with. So I got in contact with the GM, Mr. Burton and Mr. Paduano, and they were generous enough to give me a chance on the team, which was awesome. And fortunately for me, I was able to stay around for the whole season and had a really good time. It was a blast bringing a championship to Charlottesville.
Yeah, you were one of the many players to be there from May until August. We had a bunch of people who were able to do the entire season, which was pretty unique to the Tom Sox team. What do you think made that team so special?
Well, I mean, I think there was a chemistry on that team and a camaraderie that was really quite something. You know, all the guys got along really, really well. Summer ball is always, a mix of a bunch of different guys from all over the country, and so you never know what you're going to get. And I think we just got a really good mix, a really competitive group of guys that was going to go out there and try to get better every day and try to improve their game. And turned out we, went out there and we're very competitive.
Yeah. It was certainly a very talented team that had a strong core that was there for the entire season. What was one of your favorite memories from the Tom Sox team?
Well, obviously, I think winning the championship was great. It's nice to do that for the city. You know, the city gives us such great support, and to be able to come out and do that, I enjoyed a couple of different things. We did some events with some community service events with the team. That was great. Just getting out with the guys and getting involved with the community was always a lot of fun. I think one of the things I'll remember the most is that Fourth of July game. It's really cool being one of the only teams to play on the 4th of July, and you getting to play with fireworks going on in the background, and everybody's out there on the holiday just getting out to watch some baseball. So had a really good crowd. It was a lot of fun to be able to play for them.
Yeah, and that game had been delayed a couple hours because of the storm, so the fireworks were going on during the gameplay. That was
Hmm.
pretty unique. I don't know if that happens very often. You had decided that you were going to come back again this summer to Charlottesville, one of a few players returning to the team. When did you make that decision, and what influenced that decision?
I mean, the Tom Sox organization welcomed me with open arms when I came in, and I knew pretty quickly that that was a place that I'd want to be, in terms of wanting to improve my game and just a team that I'd want to be a part of, an organization that I want to be a part of. I love the city. Charlottesville's a beautiful city and have such great support out there. So within a week, I knew that I would have liked to return. Immediately got with the general managers and was just asking for the chance to come back because I knew that would be a place. And 3 years in the Valley League sounds like a long time, but it's quite enjoyable when you're in a good place like Charlottesville.
Certainly not many people stay in one league for that long, but it certainly brought you lots of success. So clearly, you used this past summer hoping that it would transition to a really successful spring season with Cornell. And as every baseball player and spring athlete experienced, things did not go as planned this past spring. How did your team kind of handle that, and how did that impact you, the cancellation of baseball this spring?
Yeah, so as I'm sure it was for every player around the country, it was obviously pretty tough. The Ivy League was one of the first conferences to cancel, and I think that's going to be one of those things that you hold on to is one of those memories of. I still remember exactly what was said in the meeting when we got told we were canceled, and having to look at our seniors and just realize that and especially being an Ivy League where we can't bring back grad students, that was going to be our last game with them. So it was really tough to say the least. But as we talked about as a team, there's certain things that make you realize that the world is bigger than baseball. And that's definitely one of them. There's a lot of things going on around the country that made us realize, all right, maybe it's time for baseball to take a step aside so we can focus on the bigger picture here. But no doubt it was tough. It was tough to have to say goodbye to that senior group. It was so great. And it happened so quickly too. We got back from a trip to South Carolina and immediately just started, domino effect falling. We were transitioned to online classes and then canceled the next day. And so it was quite crazy how it all happened. But yeah, it was tough.
Yeah, I remember the Ivy League canceling first, and just from there, I think within a couple of days, everything seemed to shut down with athletics. I know that when things were originally canceled, people didn't really understand how long these cancellations and complete changes to daily life were going to last. So how did it impact you once you realized that summer league was not going to be happening anymore? And what do you appreciate the most, I guess, about summer league baseball?
Yeah, I mean, it's so tough to try and plan things out in an unexpected time like this. I wasn't really sure when I got home whether or not I would be able to go up to Charlottesville. I kind of had to plan for both. And so it was difficult to try and figure out a schedule that would allow me to be flexible and versatile with being able to either be up there in the summer or be down here, internships, everything. So as I'm sure it was tough for everybody. But it's just about having a plan with either way. And I think I was fortunate enough that I was able to have some opportunities here in San Antonio that opened up for me. So I was able to do that, but it's definitely tough being away from Charlottesville for the summer. This is the first summer I've been home in my 3 years in college, which is different. And normally you're playing summer baseball all the time. So now that's going almost a full year without playing a game of baseball. And it's definitely a big change up to excuse the pun, but it's definitely different. And just something you have to adjust to, but something that is necessary in times like this. There's bigger things going on, like I said, and you just have to take a step aside and realize that, you're part of the bigger picture.
Yeah. And it is nice to be able to actually be home with your family for the first time in 3 years, as you said. So what are those opportunities that you have back home in Texas that have been keeping you distracted during quarantine?
Yeah. So, I mean, I've gotten, like you said, you get to spend a lot of time with family. I have family that I only get to see maybe when I come home for holidays and a couple weeks in the summer. So it's really good to be able to do that. Gotten to look into a couple of internship possibilities down here. Texas is one of the first states to open up, so it's given me a lot of flexibility. And then preparing for graduate school work, if that is something for me down the line, having to do, graduate tests and stuff like that. And that's given me the opportunity to kind of sit down and plan that stuff out. So I guess just some time to breathe when you're going from spring straight into summer ball, straight back into school in the fall. It can kind of pick up the pace a little bit, but it's nice to come home and just have some downtime where you're just able to plan things out.
Yeah. So, what have you been able to do for your baseball training? I know baseball is one of those sports where it's kind of tough to actually get reps in without practice, like having games and working with other people. So, what have you been doing to stay in shape and kind of keep your mind sharp going into fall training, if that happens?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's no doubt been tough. A lot of home workouts, as it's been for everybody. You have to get creative with, your weight training, things like that. You start, putting rocks in buckets and using that as weights to train, whatever you have to do. But it's no doubt tough, especially being cut off in the middle of the season. Your body's in shape to perform the rest of the season, and you have to keep it there now with a home gym that you're making together. So it's definitely difficult. But like I said, coming down to Texas has kind of opened up rather quickly, which has allowed me to get out and start working again and get into the cages and things like that. But a lot of it's just making the most out of what you have, like everybody else is trying to do, and just trying to use this time to maintain as much as you can, so that when everything starts to open up again, we're ready to hit the ground running.
Yeah. Well, it's great that you have such a positive mindset on everything and kind of taking it in stride. Is there anything else you would like to share with Tom Sox community?
Just that, the Charlottesville community, the Tom Sox community is great. That I know I speak for a lot of the players, and we say we miss being there and we miss getting out there and representing the city of Charlottesville. And we just appreciate that everything the city of Charlottesville does for the organization.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope that you and your family are staying safe and enjoying this time together that many baseball families don't actually get to have during summertime. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Doria.
Thanks for checking out this episode of Tom Sox Conversations. If you want more, be sure to check out the Tom Sox social media, as well as the Valley Baseball League YouTube and social media for more great content throughout the 2020 season.